Amazing. Welcome, everyone. We are here with our Wellness Wednesday, and I think we're talking about a super important topic today, but please all join me in welcoming our Wellness Wednesday guru, Heather. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing today, Alicia?
Good. I think there's one word that's certainly coming to my mind for today, and I think that's what we're talking about today.
Uncertainty, yeah. Alicia actually inspired today's talk and session, or whatever you'd like to, our wellness session this week. Um, I'm not sure if anyone looked outside this morning, but there's a little bit of snow. So just another example of how uncertain and how not unreliable, that's not the right word, but just how the world can be changing and it's not really always within our own control. Even with lockdowns and at home schooling and this thing of COVID that never really seems to ever be ending. Yeah, it can really be difficult. So I asked Alicia what she wanted to talk about today, and she was like, well, how about some uncertainty and how, we still have a lot of power within us. And I thought that was a great idea. So that's sort of what we're going to talk about today. I took this really cute or awesome quote, I think, from Brene Brown, and it says, uncertainty is a necessary part of getting to where you want to go. Um, I just think it's really important to realize that it's really an unavoidable part of life, things that aren't within our control. I don't know about you, Alicia, but sometimes I have a strong need for control and predicting things and how things are going to go. Um, Unfortunately, sometimes this can really trigger like a stress response that we have within us. And from an evolutionary perspective, we're really built to anticipate danger. But nowadays, we can't anticipate everything. Yeah, the Weather Channel might have told us it was going to snow this morning. Doug Ford might tell us there's going to be another lockdown. But it really sometimes feels that things are out of our control. So we have a lot of different dangers today and different ways to adapt to them, but our brains are still wired the same way. And sometimes with this stress, we still have the same response. When we're ambiguous in situations, when we don't have enough information even, we don't know what could come next. Sometimes our brain takes over and triggers this flight, freeze, or or fight response. So yeah, our brains are naturally going to want to take control and to get us out of this situation. But today I really want to talk about and focus on that we really do have a lot of power and strength within ourselves. And there are things that we can control, even though that automatic response might not always feel that way.
Mhm.
Alicia, you want to jump in and add anything to that?
Yeah, certainly. Sometimes our responses to situations that arise may not be what we think we should have done, or may not been of a response that we even thought that we were capable of doing. And sometimes what that comes down to is our brain being like, I need to keep you alive right now, and this is what you're going to do. You think of situations where people have this human strength all of a sudden, and that is our brains just adapting and keeping us alive. And I think just with all the uncertainty we have going on in the world right now, the one thing that is always certain is our bodies, our minds, and ourself within this space.
I think that's really great. And I think for me personally, at least, practicing this mindfulness and this self-compassion and this gratitude that we've been working on these last few weeks, it's really going to reinforce that what Alicia's just said, that even though sometimes it might feel overwhelming and like this big thing, we still have a lot of power and control within our own lives. So again, I'm not here to be negative and be like, oh, let's think about all the things that are going to go wrong or could go wrong. We really can make a difference in our own lives every day with just the small practices that we do. It's amazing how a little tomorrow can make up for a whole lot of yesterday. So, not every day's perfect, and we're not going to be perfect every single day. And there's going to be days that are harder than others. But realizing that you can, even if it's taking 5 minutes and decompressing and doing a quick little mindfulness or grounding exercise, these are really things that are really going to help. And so just on your screen, if you're having a look, you can just see some different little tips that we have here for dealing with uncertainty. So using some self-compassion. When we deal with uncertainty, it's really important to try and deal with your emotions instead of getting like so caught up in this anxious feeling, and just taking a deep breath and taking a moment To remind yourself that feelings are normal, and they're perfectly okay to be having. Sometimes we fight against them, but as a result, we can end up feeling sometimes a lot worse. So as an alternative, try and be compassionate towards yourself and observe the way you're thinking, allow space for it, and then just sort of let that pass. It doesn't have to consume everything that for the rest of your day. We really want to practice some acceptance as well. Experiencing uncertainty is part of a natural human existence. It's something that we're probably likely going to encounter every day, even if you're not aware of it, right? Uncertainty and worry, it's a natural response. So we really just want to find different ways to use some acceptance. If we attempt to control things that aren't within our control, again, we might feel demotivated, sometimes even a bit powerless. So in contrast, try and accept things that you have control over. Even if it's only a limited bit of control, you're going to end up feeling much more certain about things and in control and in power. Another one, try and stay present in the moment. No one can be predicting the future. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Again, especially with COVID and all of these lockdowns, we really have no idea what's going to be happening. So instead, try and learn with uncertainty so it doesn't really overwhelm you. Even the mindfulness that we've been doing every week, if you are really overwhelmed and you are just so anxious about this one thing, if you can realize and take a couple of minutes for yourself, a couple deep breathing exercises, refer back to that star that we used in the first week, and take those 5 deep breaths. And naturally, you are going to relax and decompress and be able to take more control over the moment, your emotions, your behaviors, whatever it is that's really boiling over at that point. And last thing here that we have on the screen is practice some self-care routines, which hopefully you all started last week with a little bit of exercise or fresh water, or again, making some time for yourself and asking yourself what makes you feel relaxed, gives you a sense of relief and helps you to feel recharged. Again, even if it's a couple minutes every single day, if you can just start incorporating these things into your life, it's really going to help with that overwhelming sense of out of control or uncertainty that we really do. It's natural. We all face it in life. So yeah, if everyone wants to sort of get comfortable, we're going to get started, and we're going to lead into a guided meditation here. And whatever you choose to call it, whether it's worry or anxiety, you can characterize it some as tightness in your chest or butterflies in the stomach. The mind can be very restless or get stuck on one particular thought or feeling. Worry can change our lives so much to an extent that for some people, it's as though there's nothing else in life. When you experience worry within your headspace or within your mindfulness session, just be reassured and know that it's completely normal. Again, worry is just one of the many human emotions, and we wouldn't want to be without it. It's important, it's necessary. It develops to an extent when it can't be fixated on. That's when it becomes sometimes overwhelming, and it can occupy too much of our life, too much of our time and our attention. Sometimes I think knowing when you're first sitting down for a mindfulness session, knowing that some of these feelings might arise can at least help you prepare. It's not that you're looking for these in the mind, trying to encourage them to appear. Some days they might just be there. And if it's anxiety, that's okay. If it's stress or worries, it's not that you're not doing anything wrong. It's simply like a movie playing through your head. And it's our job not to change the film, not to change the thoughts or the feelings. Instead, we want to learn how to sit and watch them. The temptation is usually to set out and think, I'm going to get rid of these thoughts. This isn't always going to be working, and sometimes we want to try it a little bit differently. Today, we're not going to try and redirect the mind. We're simply going to watch the mind and our thoughts. Today, we're going to use some thought diffusion and incorporate our imagination a little bit. I want you to visualize your worry or uncertainty, either as pictures or words, harmlessly floating away from you without obsessing or analyzing over them. Whichever you choose to do is okay. You could imagine sitting in a field, watching your worry float away on the clouds. Or picture yourself sitting beside a stream, watching your uncertainty go down with the water. Or if you like, imagine yourself in an old cabin, looking out over the field of spring flowers, with your worry and uncertainty blowing away in the soft breeze. So sitting somewhere comfortable, just take a few moments to get comfortable with a deep breath, with a nice soft focus. Be aware of the space around you. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Again, take a nice deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. And as you gently close your eyes, allow your breath to return to its natural rhythm. In through the mouth Now, in your imagination, picture yourself in the scenario you chose in order to watch your worry and uncertainty come and go. Whether it's by a stream, in a field, or somewhere else that you have chosen. Do your best to imagine yourself in that scene. And after you do, start to become aware of the uncertainty that you carry and the worry that you have. Start to observe these thoughts that are coming up, whatever they are. Don't try to stop your thoughts, and do your best not to criticize yourself for any of this. Just watch the uncertainty arise, and in your mind, let it float away or disappear by whichever means you have chosen. Continue to watch these thoughts arise and disappear. Use the pictures or words, whatever works best for you, to represent your worries. Do your best to watch your uncertainty arise and disappear without getting hooked onto it, without criticizing yourself. If more than one thought comes up at a time, see them both arise and disappear in whatever method you have chosen. If your worries come very quickly, do your best to watch them all disappear without getting hooked on any of them. Continue to breathe and watch the uncertainty come and go with each breath. And with your next out breath, just bringing the attention back to the body, back to the feeling of the weight in the body, of feet on the floor, hands resting on the arms of your chair. And when you are ready, you can open your eyes again. But before you jump up for the day, just take a moment to enjoy that feeling of being in control of your thoughts, being able to set aside this worry that we often carry with us. Take a minute to acknowledge and give yourself credit for seeing that you have the power within you to control your thoughts, to control your feelings and your emotions. Although life can be overwhelming and throw us curveballs, remember you have the ability to see this worry and uncertainty and simply set it aside and refocus on what is important to you. What is here and now is within your power and within your reach. I hope you all have a great afternoon and join us again next week for our last Wellness Wednesday session. Thank you, everybody, for joining us.